I wasn't exactly sure how to title this video, but it's definitely a cautionary tale. Perhaps producing it during the month of Halloween is the right time because of the fear that I felt in having to redo this project. Certainly there's something in here, some lesson learned about a stitch in time saves 9, or penny wise and pound foolish, or maybe any job worth doing is worth doing well. Regardless, let me show you where things ended up after the first go-round. What you see here is the peeling that started only a month or 6 weeks after I did the initial spray finish. Now what I used the first time around was some over-the-counter spray can bed liner that I applied to the original finish from the factory. The original finish I knew I would have to scrub up some, but I did a quick pass using a very coarse grit sandpaper, then I cleaned it. Obviously, it was insufficient. What you're seeing in this video is everything that occurred after I came to the realization that I was going to have to strip all the finish off, start from scratch. And actually it was after I recovered from the weekend-long depression that I felt knowing I was going to have to go through all this work. I tried several methods. I used some wire brushes. I tried both nylon and steel brushes. I tried sandpaper, which just got clogged up by the bed liner material. I used a abrasive pad on air drill, which was too aggressive, and the razor blade. Fortunately, a lot of it could be picked off, so you'll see a lot of that as well. I guess it should be no surprise that for any finishing type operation, it's all about surface prep. It's not sexy. It's not what we see in most of these videos online where folks just pull out their spray guns and start spraying. But you'll see from this video that the ratio of cleaning, surface prep, and so forth to actual spraying is large. In fact, this video was cut way down, so I spent hours and hours and hours on surface prep and probably only an hour or 2 on actual spraying and the finished coat. I think that's realistic, even if it's not much fun. This was probably my favorite part. I got to use the gasket scraper and lots of material came off in a short period of time. It was short-lived. After so much of this work, I think somehow I channeled my inner Huck Finn, and eventually even my kids came out to help some. They got their own scraper, and they must have had a lot of fun because they stuck with me for a good long while, which I certainly appreciated because it made the work go by just a little bit faster. And finally, after all that scraping work got done, I got down to a surface that I could actually do some sanding on. So I pulled out the 120 grit and the air sander, respirator, earplugs, and started sanding down. I made sure that I got a good abrasion on all the exposed surfaces because I for sure did not want to do this operation again. I used the air sander on all the external surfaces, and in the grooves I pulled out a sanding block to do this manually. And actually once I got to this point, it started to go pretty quickly. And here it is finally at a point where I could mask off the surface. Of course I wanted to be careful with the newly painted upper half of the sidecar, and I was sure to apply the tape in a way that it wasn't going to peel off the new paint when I got done with the bottom half finish.
the groove takes a lot of control. Keep your butt in the air and your fish in a bowl.
And here we finally are after weekends and weekends worth of surface prep. We get the paint prep and wax remover out and do a very thorough job cleaning everything. Get several layers on here to make sure that there is no dirt, and we're wearing gloves on our hands to make sure no hand oils get transferred onto the finished surface. And to be 100% sure that we weren't going to have problems, this is an adhesion promoter that I'm spraying on through just an inexpensive spray gun. And here is the mixing up of the two-part spray bed liner. It was a little bit more expensive than the other material, but really went on nice and thick. I'm just using a foam roller to coat the surfaces, making sure I'm going over it nice and evenly, and then I'll touch up with the paintbrush to get the grooves on the sidecar, the through holes, and get a nice overall clean finish. I did see a little inconsistency with the surface finish. Some of the areas of the bed liner were a little hairier than others, but really doesn't make a big difference. When it dried, it felt very strong and feels like it's going to stay now. So there you have it. Finish up the details, do a little inspection, and let it sit for a couple days.